Welcome back to Basic Matchup for Witches. Woo, 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 woo. It's Jessica on like a semi-solo episode today. We have our dear friend Molly back with us. So I think the plan is for this episode, it's going to come right after your last one here. So Molly is with the Telltale Hand. Yeah, right? Telltale Hand. I
Yes.
screwed that up last time. I was
Yep.
like, that's Telltale Palm, but no, it's not. But anyways, so Molly, thank you so much for coming back.
Well,
We
thank you for
have
having me again.
Of course, dear. Brittany is not able to come here. A little bit of illness going around her house, and her little dude's just giving her trouble. So we miss her, but she will be back. So don't worry. But yeah, last time we had you on, Molly. I mean, I feel like our conversation always gets like swept in like 10 different directions. So I do have a few follow-up questions just in regards to, specifics to palm reading. But then in our little intro pre-start of episode, you've disclosed some amazing topic to me and I'm like, I was blown away. So anyways, you might as well just say it, because I'm like, well, I don't want to butcher it as I do. So please tell us what else you'd like to talk about today.
Okay, well, this was just something that's come up recently. So I don't know if I mentioned this the last time we were talking, but there's a line on the hand called the line of Saturn, which is like your line of fate.
Yes.
So sometimes it connects with a person's lifeline. So in some cases, it's read as like a second lifeline.
Okay.
But overall, it kind of talks of a person's feelings of like security throughout their life.
Okay.
So lots of times it's a line that you most often read with as far as a person's like career or something goes. But a couple months ago, I started reading about something called quantum immortality, which is like a huge subject, and I'm not an expert on it, of course, but it's the idea that there's like several parallel dimensions. Just like you see in movies, whatever, like every time you make a choice, there's like a divergence.
Yes.
But quantum immortality is the idea that you can't die from your own perspective.
Okay.
So lots of times when people have like a near-death experience, this is the idea that you actually did die in another dimension.
Yes. Okay.
So, but then your consciousness bounces over to the next dimension. So from your perspective, you're completely immortal.
Yes.
Until you run out of all your parallel dimension possibilities, I guess.
Yes.
So anyways, I've started recently when I'm doing palm readings, asking people if they've ever had a near-death experience or felt like a major shift in their life just like happened overnight inexplicably.
Yeah.
Like if you, I know your neighbor has a cat, and then one day you come home and your neighbor like doesn't have a cat and they never had a cat. And I think those things happen all the time, and we kind of chalk them up to, oh, I just remembered that wrong. And I obviously don't know if this is true, but I just think this is like a really interesting thing to think about. And there's some places where you'll see somebody's line of Saturn like splits into several sections.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've just started asking people about these things. And sometimes, I don't know, I think maybe this line might have some evidence that correlates with this, which I think is really exciting.
That is so, like, I hate to use the word trippy, but it totally is.
It is kind of trippy.
Yeah. Okay, I feel like I've not run into this recently, but was talking about this with one of my like palm reading clients recently, and it was like, as we have like, we're able to make choices, and even though like as the reading of that day, it's like you decide what you're going to do tomorrow, but there is always going to be another version of yourself that chose either differently or continue down that path. And it's like oh my god, sorry, I like feel when you put it into like perspective, it's like, oh my god, my brain is like not big enough to like handle the massness of this. But like, but it's so true.
It's a big idea, but
yeah,
I just think that's
yeah, I think that's super neat. And again, now that I've kind of like put it into different perspectives, because it's all about perspective, recalling like, oh, I swear you had bangs. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Or I definitely thought you did that in grade school. It's like, no, I never did that. Like, I think that's would be also associated with that. Am I wrong?
Oh no, it absolutely would be, because like the idea, I guess, is if you die in one dimension, the dimension you go to is going to be the one closest to your current reality.
Okay.
So the shifts will be very small, and sometimes it's like it is just something as somebody all of a sudden doesn't have bangs.
Yeah.
Or something, but
right. Or that was just but right. Just an example, but sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just like a couple years ago I decided I was going to get a ukulele because there was a song that I heard that I really liked. So I'm like, I'm going to get a ukulele and learn to play that. So I went and told my husband that, and he's like, why don't you just use the ukulele in the closet? I'm like, I don't have a ukulele. And he's like, yeah, you bought one a couple years ago because you were going to learn that song. And it was like the song that I just heard for the first time the other day, and it made me
Mm,
decide to get a ukulele. But I don't know, maybe in another dimension, I like had that thought a few years earlier. It's weird.
exactly. No, that is crazy. Like, I don't know. Like when you think about like the how many versions of ourselves, obviously there's infinite numbers of possibilities here. It's
Yeah.
it's like a surreal thing. Now, I guess, not to get too like into conspiracy that, but when I think of this
Hmm.
kind of topic, obviously the quantum realm, I'm a Marvel fan. So I'm all like, oh,
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
kind of like Doctor Strange, or this is kind of like
Yes.
Ant-Man. Do you know what I mean? Being able to like
Yep.
shift into different dimensions and that. So again, as somebody who kind of lives in the movie world as well, like I think that that's completely plausible.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
not,
think so
maybe not
too.
the Doctor Strange of it all, but do you know what I mean? Like
I
I
think
think
it would
it's
explain a lot, honestly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially even in
I
like
just I'd never
sci-fi.
really thought of that before. And then just doing
Yeah,
palm readings, it just seemed like there were lots of times where you'd be looking at this one particular line, and it was like
yeah,
wondering if there were other explanations for those sort of breaks in the line. And I think that
yeah.
that's like a really cool explanation.
I think that's so neat. So now you
Yeah.
said that was along which line? The line of sorry, Saturn line?
The the Saturn line, not everyone has it. Most people do to some extent. It usually comes out of the middle of the palm, but basically if you go like straight down from your index finger or your middle finger,
Okay, yeah.
like the line points towards your middle finger.
Okay. All right. I'm like investigating mine. I feel like,
Mhm.
and actually I should ask this because obviously like on my palms, like I've got some really deep lines and then I have lines that are not as defined.
Yep.
Like those would be part of that reading, would they not?
Oh, they would for sure. Like
Okay, for
everybody, even babies have like the main three lines, which are usually
yeah.
the deepest. And then you kind of read the lines in between.
Yeah, okay. Because
Well,
I'm like
yeah.
thinking like I don't have that. I'm like, but I probably do. I just don't like it's just not as defined. And I feel
Yeah.
like
Some
when we
people's
look
is super
oh
faint.
sorry. Yeah. Like I feel like
Yeah,
when
but
it's
it's
like,
still
oh, I
there.
don't yeah. I was, as I like inspect my own palms, I'm like, oh, I don't have that because it's not a deep line or it's just, it's pretty faint. It's like
Yes.
I'm sure there's a way to read that anyways. Oh, that's so
Hmm.
cool. Yeah. So now how do your clients feel when you bring up the quantum realm or the quantum,
I don't
realities?
I don't like, usually like jump right into that, but sometimes you have someone come to you with a question that is sort of like tangentially related to that.
Hmm.
Like they'll say that they've just had really big inexplicable changes the last couple of years, or like all of a sudden they felt like they've really shifted in the last year, but they can't feel like what exactly it is. And lots of
Uh-huh.
times you can find a correlation with that time on that line. So
Yeah.
then I bring it up if I feel like the person is maybe open to hearing that.
Yeah. That's really
Yeah.
neat. Yeah, you're right. You kind of have to put out feelers. Now, like
Yes.
as like the other side of things, as like an observer of somebody else going through this shift, I wonder what book was it? I just read a book. Oh God, I have to look it up here because it kind of reminded me a bit of that. Oh my freaking God, what was it? Ah, it's gonna kill me. I'm just like looking at it right now. It is
Oh.
I'm in a book club, which is great. I'm really loving it. It's like it really pushes me outside of my like regular bit here. Oh my gosh, it was such a good book, but it had a little bit to do with that. I'm sorry, I'm just like looking through my. Actually, there's an easier way to do this. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts. Hold on. Sorry, I can always speed this up, but I probably won't.
No, you're good.
You know how it goes. Okay, where are you? Okay, Sunrise Social Book Club. Okay, sorry, it's like wait, no, not that one. That's too far. Book Club, The Midnight Library by Matt Haig.
Okay.
Don't know if you've ever read it. I definitely
No.
recommend it if you have. So now the premise of this book, not because this podcast goes everywhere. We know this.
Yeah, I love it.
Because we talk about it all. But now this specific, like the main character here is like dealing with, suicidal ideology and in a very depressive state, like X, Y, and Z have not been going her way, so she's kind of at the end of her rope, you could
Hmm.
say. Now, in her most recent unaliving attempt, she's, visiting what's called the Midnight Library. So some could see that as like a purgatory or, like a state of remembering your life. Now she encounters what is, comes to her as an old librarian, but it's kind of like, the guide or,
Hmm.
her person or whichever. And through this step, she's able to like borrow books from this library and see, what could have happened. Right. So like if she opened
Oh,
up a book and was like, oh, but what if I stayed with this guy? Then
yeah.
she opens up the book and then she's like transported into those shoes as to like if she had decided this is where it would take her. Right. And it was like the
Cool.
good, the bad, and the ugly of all of this. And then, then by putting herself in that, she can say either I'm not happy with the situation and get pulled out, but then can never revisit,
Mm-hmm.
or she can decide to stay if it feels like if it's what's going to make her eternally happy or whichever. It's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Haig is like he's like a self-help author originally, but he's like so you can see a lot of like philosophy in his books and that. But anyways, I don't know if you're much of a reader, but and our listeners as well, like it was a really good it obviously stuck with me. I read this book in January and I still am like, oh, it's such a good book.
Oh,
So
oh, cool. No,
please
that's
give it a
awesome. I'll
chance.
look for that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then of course, like going to that, it's like, okay, so she's just visiting that version of herself in that other, to me, realm of like, if I had decided this is how that version of herself is going to continue on that path. Right. So it's like she just gets to like take
Mm-hmm.
over that, that person, that version of her's body for like an hour or two, try it out and then
Cool.
decide to stay or
Yeah.
not. So that's really neat. Sorry. I thought that was really a good
Yeah.
crossover.
No, that is, yeah. Mm,
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, in I guess, going back to like the palms and that, we so I had sent you a picture a few weeks ago because you were like, send me you have birthmarks or if people have birthmarks on their palms. Now,
Yeah.
I don't have one on my palm, but I have one on my finger. Is what I sent you a picture of.
Uh-huh.
It's like on my knuckle or whichever. But now the resonance for that, I guess, because going back to like the beginning here, if
Mm-hmm.
somebody does have a birthmark on their hands, like does it a mean the same thing as like wherever it's placed? Does it, I guess, yeah, does it have to be somewhere to mean something and another to mean something else? Like are you picking up
Yes.
what I'm putting down? Sorry. Rambling
Yeah.
at you.
Oh, yeah. No. So in palm reading, birthmarks or moles traditionally are read as like a blemish, or they sort of show qualities that are reduced, or like I don't want to use the word defect in some way,
Mhm.
but each of the fingers have different groupings of characteristics. And then each of the phalanges, like the bottom, the middle, or the top, is related to either the physical, practical, or mental worlds. So depending on where your mole shows up, it just indicates there's something going on related to that. Like Jupiter, that's your index finger. So that's where
Mhm.
I've got a mole on the side of that one, and the bottom phalange on that finger.
Yeah.
Like that finger is related to leadership skills, ambition, a lot of things like that. But it's also physically related to food. So just having a mole on that part suggests usually problems with food in some way,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it
Yep.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's so cool.
So each
Yeah,
finger would have like a different meaning in terms of that.
that's so neat. I guess is there like a I was gonna say a TED Talk version, but that's like probably a long version. Cliff Notes version of like what each finger means. So now that we've kind of gone over
Uh,
like the top, middle, end, or are you like willing to
yep.
share? Or yeah, I would just
Oh
love to
yeah.
learn
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Yes. So that the index finger is that one, like ambition, leadership, self-determination. It's kind of related to loyalty and marriage in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. Your middle finger is your Saturn finger, which is more related to like scholarship, wisdom, philosophy, logic. Sometimes your relationship to other humans, like your opinion of humanity as a whole, will kind of be expressed in that finger sometimes.
Hmm.
And then your ring finger is Apollo, which more rules like artistry, creativity, performance, and then weirdly salesmanship as well. Like people that are
Okay.
really good salesmen usually will have a really long finger,
Okay.
ring finger. And then your pinky finger is more related to like medical arts, business ability, diplomacy, and communication. Then a
That's
person's thumb
neat.
is related to their will for the most part, or their determination, person's willpower.
That's
It is
interesting.
neat. Yeah.
That is really cool. And I know
Mm-hmm.
we talked about it in the first episode here, but your right hand is your future and your left hand is like your life plan. Is that trying to remember?
Sort of. So
Yes.
your dominant hand, so for most people, of course, is your right hand.
Yeah. Mhm.
More shows events that have actually happened in your life and how they have affected you.
Okay.
They will show your, I guess, predictions for your future.
Hmm.
based on the current path that you're on. So, like the direction that you're heading, if you continue to do all the things you're doing right now.
Okay.
Your left hand or your recessive hand will more show things that you were born with, things that are happening really deep down subconsciously. Lots of times it'll have like skills or things that maybe you haven't used to their full potential, which then you'd see show up on the right hand as well.
That's right. Okay. Oh, that's
Yeah,
really
things that
cool.
have the potential to happen.
That's right. Okay, cool. I was like, I knew that it was something like that. Like one was like written already and it was like
Yes,
to prove it to the other, but our lines are always changing. We talked about that as well.
for
Um
sure.
to clarify for our listeners. So Molly, we had you on, it was like 5 or 6 weeks ago. So that's why I'm like, what did you say
Oh yeah, yeah.
again?
I don't remember either.
I know, right? I was like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna have fun. But I do actually, okay, so now I have a real serious question for you because
Okay.
shortly after our visit, you were talking about how you're gonna go to like a dog park festival and pull some like tarot
Oh
cards
yes.
for dogs.
Yep.
Sorry if that hurt your ears there, guys. But I was like, I was really excited to hear about it because I know, like, well, add to cart was a big thing, and I saw the cat one. I was like, yes, we got to do it.
Yeah.
But how did it go?
It went pretty good. Yes, there were some weather issues later in the day, but the
Darn.
first half of the day was pretty good. So
That's good.
I ended up deciding to offer palm readings as well, just
Oh,
because
good. Yeah.
um there were, I guess, not as many dogs there as I was expecting. I guess I was picturing there was going to be like 600 dogs running around in the field, but we
Yeah.
were not as close to the pool. It was a pool party as I thought would be. So
Okay, cool.
I
Fair
did palm
enough.
readings, but yes, they did also offer dog tarot, which are a
Okay.
lot of fun. And they're not as
Yeah.
serious as palm readings, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. What kind of messages did you
Yeah.
get or were you able to pull? Because it's a deck that you have, right? But then
Yes.
intuitively, I guess you tell me, I would love to hear a little bit more about it.
Well, they're a lot like regular tarot cards. I mean, they're dog tarot cards, so the deck is smaller. Some of the cards are the same, like there's a justice card
Yeah.
and yeah, all that.
Okay.
But some of them are different. So a lot of people would come and they just want like just the tarot cards read for the dogs. So I was doing 3 card spreads. The first card, like something either about the dog's past or about the dog's like true nature. And then the middle card, sort of things that were happening right now or something that's going to happen in the
Okay.
immediate future. And then the third card was like the outcome of things. Or some
Okay.
people would have like a question like, um, I'm thinking about getting another dog. How would this dog feel about that? Or
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
yes.
Well, that's really neat to get
Yeah.
like the owners involved too. I think that's like fantastic. I'm all for
Yeah.
like, you know how like there's like mediums or people who can like talk to animals? I totally believe in this, by the way.
Yes.
Like I think it's like absolutely
Yes.
plausible. I think it is like
For sure.
amazing. But I think that's such like a unique gift to like tap in like that and learn I've always said that if I were to have any superpowers, it would be language, like being able to like communicate with basically anyone, anything, and just,
Oh yeah.
to have that, I think that would be like the most amazing thing ever. And in that sense as well, it's like breaking the barriers of
Yeah.
communication.
That's really sweet that that's a superpower you would pick.
Oh, of course it would be. I wish I don't have a brain for languages. Like I've tried. But I would love, like I used to work at a bank. This is a really good example. I used to work at a bank
Yeah.
and like people would come in, obviously, from all over the world because we lived in Canada and like, everybody lives here now essentially. And they come in and it's like
Hmm.
there's that language barrier, or it'd be like even ASL or like, just sign language. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I just wish I could,
Uh-huh.
help meet
Honestly,
you in the
Jessica,
middle.
that's so nice. I feel like when people are asked what they want for a superpower, it's always like you want to be able to like walk through walls or be invisible or fly or something, but like wanting to have a superpower so you can communicate with other people is
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Oh, thank you very much. It's like I truly like it gets me so passionate because I think and it's I don't know. I guess I've just been so fortunate and I feel like I want to be friends with everybody if you couldn't tell. So
That's very
and I'm like I
cool.
want to talk
Yeah.
to all the people in whatever language. I would just love to be like shift from like English to like Spanish to like Russian. You know what I mean? And like the
Hmm.
same.
Oh yeah,
Oh, it'd be amazing. I'd love that. So
for
what kind
sure.
of superpower would you pick on that topic?
I have always wanted where I could make things grow by like I
Hmm.
could jump and then a tree would pop up there, or I could like tap my fingers really lightly and then you get like little tiny wildflowers or something. That's
Oh,
always what I pictured I would do.
that's beautiful. Oh, I
Yeah, I
love
thought that'd be
that.
fun.
Like, girl, you
Mhm.
could probably do that, you know. I feel like,
I guess I picture it happening instantly. I'm like,
right, well, yeah,
I'm not really
exactly.
good at gardening, but
Intention, girl. You could just be
Mhm.
like, hello, my
Yes,
pretty
that's right.
seedlings, and it would like grow to be beautiful. I believe
Yeah.
that. So I bet you already
Yeah.
have that gift. If you already have like a greenish thumb, I'm sure you'd know
Yeah,
as
I don't know if
well.
I do. I might work on that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I like wish. We actually just picked some like what are they called? Not hyacinths, not chrysanthemums. I don't know. They're like the big bushy flowers. That's such a bad way to say it. I don't know actually know what they're called. Some with an H. Hydrangea? Hydrangea. My neighbor
Oh,
has like a
hydrangeas. Oh,
bunch
yeah.
of different shades and that. So we were just over in our garden picking some. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna propagate them and we're gonna grow them in
Uh-huh.
our side, which we could easily, but you have to keep them alive to propagate.
Yes.
Not going well on my end, but that's okay. I might just transplant a bush. I think might be better than starting with a little bit. So anyways, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess, now we've kind of made it through the summer here. What is on your horizon here? Do you have any like plans coming up for, the next few months or the next year, in terms of, what you're doing?
I'm gonna keep focusing on palm readings. I'm maybe gonna try to do some closer to home this winter.
Yeah.
I've been going to Medicine Hat more
Yeah.
frequently because my grandma moved there, so I'm
Oh,
offering full
good.
readings there. But actually, I'm just starting to get into clay work. Like
Ooh,
I made
okay.
myself. I don't know if you burn sage, like the
I do.
actual dried sage.
I do, yeah.
I made myself a bowl to do that with, like to catch the ashes and then to have sand in it for whatever if you need to extinguish it. But
Yeah.
anyways, I really enjoyed making that. So last time I was in Medicine Hat, I picked up some clay and I'm going to be making some magical clay items through the winter is my plan. I'm going to focus on that.
That's amazing. And again, intention wise, like it's as magical as you do. I feel like, I mean, obviously speaking of hands, like not like I'm trying to like tap into you right now, but when I like think of you, I
Hmm.
do think my hands get really warm and like itchy. Like it is like you've got
Oh,
like a craft. Do you know what I mean? It like makes me want to get my hands like right in and like dig in. So
cool.
yeah, I think that's so cool and so like perfect for you. Um I don't know if I asked you this, but would you ever do any like courses on how to teach?
On palm reading?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I've never thought of that. I don't know. Maybe like 20 years from now. I feel like in order to teach something, you really have to be like the expert on it, I guess.
Okay. Well, you
Which
are
I don't see
our
myself at
expert.
yet. But pardon?
You are our expert. I hope you know that.
Um,
Like,
maybe you're expert, but every time I read hands, like the other day I think I read 15 pairs of hands that day, and
yeah,
I saw like at least, I don't know, three things that I was like, I've never seen that before, and now I have to go
yeah,
find out what that means. So maybe when I
yeah.
come to the end of that and I don't find those questions anymore, I'll feel ready.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think you're ready, but um I'm going through that same like transition myself on like if I should teach tarot or not and like the way to do it and like
Oh yeah.
imposter syndrome is
Yeah.
like I don't think I'm ready, but maybe I am ready. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with my mentor or like the one who taught me and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I'm like I need your blessing before I can do it. Like, I don't think I'm ready. And it's like, of course I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so this is your sign saying you're ready. If it's ever been an inkling as to what you want to do or would be given a thought, you should just do it.
Oh,
Try
cool. I
it.
think you should do it.
Yeah. It'd be
Is
like,
tarot big? Are those things big in Ireland?
yes, I've had quite a bit of like action with my business. It's called Canary Cards. Like here, like I do local and I do virtual. But
Cool.
you know, Ireland is still kind of split in some areas between like the super, religious and like the new age is still kind of
Uh-huh.
it's prevalent, but it's really still hush hush. So, for example, I was like talking about it at work the other day. I work at a jewelry store in town, and they're like, "Oh, that woman was like shaking her head." I was like, "Why?" She's like, "Because she heard you say card reading." I was like, "Oh my
Oh.
God."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I suppose like this woman was probably like in her 80s, but you're right. Like it's yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
popular with the younger. I would say like 50 and younger. Do you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Yep.
And then over that age, I haven't felt as warm as a reception. Let's just say that. No like
Yes.
abuse by any means, but it just doesn't
Yeah.
seem to be an interest. And that's fair. I can't push it. I won't push it on anybody, right?
Yeah.
But having an
Yeah. Yeah.
offering. So yes, no, it's
Mhm.
a wild time over here in Ireland. Have you ever been?
To Ireland? No, I have not.
Girl,
No, I really want to go there someday though. I want to
you
go to like the
should.
whole area around like the British Isles.
Do the whole thing. Exactly. Yeah. It's like
Yes.
worth it to get over here. Actually, I was speaking with a person I met who's from Vancouver. She's from here, like in Ireland, moved to Vancouver about 11 years ago. And she's like, I haven't even seen the rest of Canada because it's so expensive. I'm like, I know. Whereas here,
Mm-hmm.
like you can come to Ireland and you can travel, all over for like the same price as like one flight to like out west. It's insane.
Really?
Like I mean, of course, accommodations will add on to that, but to fly, like we're flying out to England this week, and for four of us to fly, return with a stroller, no check bags, we're just doing backpacks this time, but it was like 120 euro, which is like, how much is that?
What?
That's like,
Each?
no,
What?
everybody. It's like that's
That's
like two hundred
crazy.
dollars for like again round
Yeah.
trip, and that's to England. Like that's a completely different country. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cheaper than fuel, like
Yeah,
gas. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So even if we drove and took a ferry, I mean, I'm sure that would, cost something, but it's just so
Mm-hmm.
much cheaper to fly and explore. So like the fact that we can just go to England for the weekend, it's like, what? It's
Yeah, that's super
pretty
cool.
surreal. Yeah. So definitely to
Mm.
yourself, Molly, and to like anybody else who's listening who's like you just need to do it. Try it, come over here if you can. I mean, I know it's hard. I know it's hard and it takes some time and some planning, but it is so worth the trip. If it's if it's ever called to you
Mm-hmm.
to travel abroad, that's a sign, right? That you've got something
I
to
know.
either cross off your list or, it's on your soul contract if it's really egging at you.
Yep.
Actually, before I met Ryan, my husband, this was I was in university, maybe? I can't remember. I was like 20. Hadn't met him yet, but I was like, I'm gonna take, a few months off and I'm gonna go over here. But to come to Ireland, you have to go to specifically to Ireland because it's not attached by land, right? So you have to
Mm-hmm.
come here in order to go over. And it was like it didn't matter where else I went, but I had to go to Ireland. I had to go to Ireland. And again, I
Oh,
had not met Ryan yet, but it was like, nope, like I have to, I have to, I have to. Of course, that trip didn't come to fruition, and that's okay because like what a couple years later, I met Ryan from Ireland, and then within the
oh,
same year, like I met him in August, and I was in Ireland by Christmas with him. Um, it
that's very
was, and
cool.
that was like a whirlwind, but it was fantastic. It was like so this is like one of the places for my soul. So like I said, if there's anywhere in the world that like you've been like you can't shake,
Yep.
it's like I just gotta go. I can't stop thinking about it or how blue the waters are and wherever. It's like you just have to find a way to get there at one point. So
Yes, I believe, yeah.
yes,
I think that's totally
yes.
true.
Uh-huh. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. Well, my friend, how do you feel about a card read? Do you want to do some cards or I don't know if you
Are
want
you
to
like you're gonna read me a card?
I can literally do a reading for you right now if you wanted it on air, or I can do
Oh,
like my collective reading. You tell me. I'm easy.
oh, you sure do a reading for me. That would be great.
Hmm. Okay. I'm going to just go quickly grab my deck of my tarot. Is that okay? I just have my animal
Yeah,
spirit ones, but okay, I'll be right back. I'm
perfect.
so excited. Okay. So I'm gonna start your reading like I do all my other readings, if that's okay, to kind of
Yep.
that's my indicator to spirit that I'm like ready to work.
Okay.
So actually, I can I'll video this my portion of myself for our friends to watch me do the things. Okay. Lovely. So let's see here. I'm just going to there we go. Okay, excellent. So I have my own way of shuffling, as everybody who pulls cards does. Some people, when
Mm-hmm.
you watch like TikToks and that, when people shuffle, cards fly all over the place, and it's like, oh, that's your card, and this came out right away. That's not how
Yeah.
that works. Not for me. Mine is like a slow bro. Mine's like an intuitive pull, right? So,
Cool.
I don't know if I went over this with you before, but so my signs from spirit are if there's like a message, my left arm feels like it's being tugged. It's almost like somebody's like pulling down my arm. And that's like my like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there's something to be said. The other one I get is like my left ear kind of feels like it's being wisped or like, there's like a little brush against it. So that's like a sign from my spirit guides. Then I can kind of see it looks like almost like shadows like drop and like dissolve away. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's also a sign from like
Mm-hmm.
my spirit. And then if there's someone or like on the other side, I usually feel like there's like a presence behind my back or like at the back of my head. So yeah,
Cool.
so that's kind of how I read and I listen to my intuition. So this is a general reading, right? So I've got my tarot deck here. When I say it's a general reading, general reading, general answers. So if you have anything specific, you are
Cool.
welcome to ask those, but otherwise I'll just ask for, what you need to know. So be prepared to hear
Awesome.
what you need and not necessarily what you want. But also
Good.
take what you want, leave the rest. Don't make it fit. So if it does not resonate, it's okay. It may not resonate now. Hey, maybe it resonates with another, person on your timeline, or in a different
Yeah.
one, right? So, okay. So I'm gonna knock on my cards. I'm pushing out the old energy, and I'm thinking of you, Molly. I still think your
Thank
name
you.
is way too familiar for me not to like have a connection with you, Molly Venn.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm gonna figure that out. Okay, Miss Molly. Oh, first off, also, can I read your energy before I just do it? Is
Yeah.
that okay? Okay, good. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
get my permission, so it's good. So like immediately, I get like I haven't even pulled a card yet, and I'm like nervous, excited. It's almost like
Oh.
not butterflies, but I feel like kind of like I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if that's you or if it's just like the day. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it's like,
Mhm.
okay, have to make time to do this, but you know what I mean? It kind of feels like that a little bit, which is okay. I won't be offended
Yeah.
if that's like the stress I've caused you. So I'm just going to pull, and for those watching on the YouTube, so I have an intuitive pull, so I'm just going to put my hand over here, and I can, by that nudge, I kind of can feel which card to pull. So that's just my way of reading. Everybody's is different. Um, yeah, okay. Well, I think there's more in there, but we'll start with this. Okay. I'm so excited.
I'm excited.
Okay. The High Priestess. Meditate and turn inward to discover your soul's true desire. This is not the time for action. Develop your intuitive gifts and trust the wisdom you receive. So that's just what the card says. Now, when I intuitively read the cards, these ones are, I don't know if you have your camera on, Molly, and you can see the card at all.
Yep.
But this one is the High Priestess. So, of course, I've read the description. What I saw first on this card was the apple. And that is like, when I think of this card in that sense, it's almost like being tempted with something. And it's like, before we can take a bite, we kind of have to analyze it from every position. But at the end of the day, I just really want to take a bite of that juicy apple. Do you know what I mean? Like under my tongue is really
Hmm.
starting to water. It's like you crave something so much.
Uh-huh.
That's just what I'm feeling is like, and of course, when I think of like the High Priestess, like she's also got a book in front of her. So it's like learning a new craft. But like I said, I think perspective is really important. But whatever you're hesitant on moving forward or researching is like so
Hmm.
attractive to you. And like I said, it's like a craving. You're like, oh, I just want to like drink that apple juice so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, next up I have, okay, and I've never gotten this card. This is a true fact. I'm not lying to you. I've
Oh.
never seen this card in my life. Okay, so it's the King of Fire, which is the king of, what is he the king of? I think it's the King of Wands, maybe. But anyways, motivational, inspiring, theatrical, ambitious. Take a leadership role. Step into the spotlight. Public speaking. Keep your eyes on the big picture. Communicate your vision. Don't be sensitive to criticism. I'm not kidding you when I say I've never gotten this card before. Never in my life have I seen this
Very
face.
cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
So new beginnings already. Brand new information. So I'm going to read that as like, oh, okay. So something, either a new idea or like a spark is going to come. That's what it felt like. Was like,
Hmm.
it was like I didn't even know it was in there, and I've looked at it a million times. How did I miss it? The next thing I see, okay, so first I just saw his face, and truthfully it's just like a very handsome face.
Hmm.
So when I'm trying to like think of like what I feel when I saw this, and it was like, again, it was like that shock factor. It was like, oh, I didn't realize, right? And like, so now I'm like looking at, okay, so it is really appealing. So it could be, again, like something that's going to come out, like, it's going to look more and more appealing to you. Of course, I think of that
Hmm.
apple as well. So like I said, take what you want, leave the rest. But the Chariot. Rewards that come from hard work, successfully balancing many priorities at once, determination and willpower, public recognition. When I see this, I saw the man in the
Oh.
chariot with like, he's holding the star and he's like, let's frickin' go. And
Oh, I love that.
he's like, "I have the idea. Let's go." Like, there's nothing that's gonna stop him. You look at what he's doing in this card, like, yeah, he's in the chariot. He's got 2 freaking unicorns pulling it. They're flying. Like, it's like there's just no bounds. It's almost
Mhm.
again, it's a complete, like, gun ho. Whatever you decide, it's like, absolutely, it's gonna take off.
Cool.
Wishes come true. Your dreams become reality, a magical time of life, good fortune, faith in the universe, that all is well. And again, I feel like a sense of peace when I see this man. He's kind of, when I think of like, the genie lamp and that, it's like every wish of his is going to be granted. And a really important part of like what we're seeing here as well is it's like a really well-rounded wish. Do you know what I mean? It's like he's
Mhm.
not wishing for too much of anything. He wants peace. He wants judgment. He wants health. He wants the ability to move. He wants the idea, he wants a bit of everything. So I think that's
Mhm.
kind of like, it's not that, if we have a wish for, a grand wish regards to finances, it's like, yeah, you'll have that, but then you'll also have this and you'll also have this. So I think that's really good that sometimes
Yeah,
when one good thing happens, it's good to recognize like, oh my, that was the catalyst for so many amazing things. That makes
that's true.
sense?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So is it resonating at all so far? I should ask.
Yeah, it is. Yep. That's a
Okay.
super positive reading, honestly, to me.
It is. Like I said, like
Yeah.
I am like, I still feel like intrigued. Do you know what I mean? And again, like once I'm
Mhm.
in my channeling mode, I tend to like, I don't know if it's like your guides or my guides, but it's like, okay, but these are like the feelings. And I've been in readings where I'm like, really leery or whichever. But like so
Mhm.
far, I'm like, I just feel like there's something that you're studying or like taking your time with that like I said, it's like really attractive to you. You're like, I don't know, I've been really thinking about it. And maybe that is like your pottery or your work with your clay work stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, moving on to the next here. The need to move on, seeking more from life than what you're experiencing, a spiritual quest, choosing to make big life changes, a change in priorities, or leaving home. So now when I see this
Oh.
man, this is still a positive card because when I think of endings, I
Mhm.
think of new beginnings, right? So now
Yep.
this man, this is for, was it the Six of Cups, the Eight of Cups, sorry. So it's a very emotional card. Now we've chosen to leave behind a big chunk of whatever's holding us back, but we are taking a sample of it with us, right? So
Mhm.
it's like deciding what's worth carrying and what's worth leaving behind, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes that, we have reservations about proceeding because we don't want to either, leave any of those memories, leave people behind. We don't want to move out of our house because there's family memories, whatever it happens to be. It's like, okay, but we can take pieces of it and, and
Yes.
still never lose that and still should move forward with life. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm feeling from that one. Is like, okay, like what can I carry? What's logical for me to carry that I can fit in my backpack, opposed to like carrying a big duffel or whatever that is, a chest,
Yeah.
a duffel.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Intelligent, impartial, respected, stoic, receiving wise advice, remain objective and fair minded, public speaking. Public speaking has come up twice now. Communicate
Wow.
clearly, unemotional relationships, or being emotionally unavailable. So this is the King of Swords. Now, whenever I see him, actually, I don't. Every time I see him, it's something different. But I do see his face in the spot that he's like, okay, so I'm king. I'm where I wanted to be, but I'm bored. It's like as a
Mhm.
king, he's got everybody doing stuff for him, and he's like left to do what? You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
it wasn't what I thought. The grass isn't greener at the top, or in this shift of mine. So it's like how else can I challenge myself? Or yeah, I can be king for so long, but maybe it's time that I mixed it up a little bit. So it is
Yeah.
almost like challenging yourself. You are such a smart, educated person that it's like, okay, but why stop thinking of what's next? Right. And
Mhm.
why wait 20 years because I haven't done it yet to
Yeah.
start doing
Yes.
something to push you out of your comfort zone. Okay. Okay, the King of Cups. Again, very emotional, but trustworthy, honorable, devoted, but cautious. Someone you can completely trust. A situation that is safe, a solid romantic relationship, hidden but well-intentioned emotions, a charitable benefactor, seeing a counselor. So at first, I'm just going to feel this a little bit more here. I think like the description, like the trustworthy, honorable, devoted is you. Cautious, I actually do feel is you as well. But I do feel like the term a situation that is safe is what popped out to me first. So it's almost that cautious and like looking for safety, looking for security could be like the topic of this card for you. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, okay, so like for example, this king is sitting on a boat. Obviously, he's like leaving the shore, right? And it's like,
Yes.
okay, like I'm in uneasy waters. I'm in a different territory, but I'm like longing for land. Like, are we safe on this boat?
Mm-hmm.
Is everything good? Is everything ticked off? It's like that want, not the want. Again, it comes back to that like, well, what if I stayed? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What if I did that? And when I have those kind of conversations with clients, it's like, when we don't know how things ended, a lot of the times it's like a call to action to like finish the story, right? So if it's a matter of
Mm-hmm.
writing it out and saying like this is how it happened, this is how I think it should have ended, or how it ended or whatever, or if there's just like no way to do it, you need to finish it, because when we finish it, then we can forget it, we can move on, right? So it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
he's going to have that longing until he decides that it is safe, or figures out what safety is, right? So if
Mm-hmm.
it's a life jacket, or if it's a place it further off the edge of the boat, I don't know. but right, it's like finding stability elsewhere as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also have transformation, a significant life experience that requires changes to be made. Powerful and often unexpected revelations, breaking free of procrastination, releasing old belief systems. So at first glance here, so it's like a castle under construction. We can see the angel, he's pointing up there. He's also holding an hourglass. So at first I saw like at the top here, there's like the construction on like the roof. And then next
Mm-hmm.
I saw the hourglass. So now what I'm feeling like from that is it's okay, two terms just came up here, head to toe. So it could be like, okay, sorry, it was a way of thinking and head to toe. That was like the two terms that came up to me. So it could be like, that's our transformation, is it's like almost coming to a realization that the way we were doing things, it's not negative. It feels like, yeah, hold on, I just have to feel this a bit. It's not perspective. Head to toe. What the hell does that mean? It's like transformation, and again, way of thinking. I'm really having a hard time placing those two. Head to toe. I don't know. But with the hourglass, I feel like that shift has already started. Do you know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
don't think it's
Yep.
on the horizon. I think it's like we're more than halfway through it, is what I feel
Cool.
like. It's like, and maybe this is that shift for you. Maybe that is that like all of a sudden, I'm thinking differently, I'm feeling differently. I've decided to do things differently, and that motivation comes out differently. I think that's part of that. Does that make any
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, it definitely
Okay.
does.
What if I
Yes.
do radius? I'm like, I don't know what I'm saying. So like you let me know. Okay.
Mm.
And then I'm gonna do an animal spirit because I don't think there was anything else in my tarot for you right now. Girl, I could probably do a whole reading on you though. Yeah, that one is, I don't have anything else in my tarot, but I feel like you'd be worth getting into the oracle, but I don't have that handy right now. So are you okay if I do the animal spirit? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, excellent. The animal spirit one I have is by Kim Kranz, and that's the one I do every episode essentially because it's the bomb. It's great. And actually, that tarot deck I've been pulling, that one is the Angel Wisdom Tarot by Radley Valentine. For anybody who's interested. Okay, so same thing with the animal spirit. Just gonna knock, and I'm just gonna think about you. And also, like when I channel a little bit, I like see images in that. So I just saw like
Mm-hmm.
it was almost like a stroke with like an eye, like almost like not like a cartoon eye, but if I was gonna like draw a silhouette of somebody, it'd be like just like the shadow and like I don't know. I don't know what that means, but
Okay.
that's what I saw.
Yeah.
Anyways. I don't know. Again, I draw all this stuff out in my pre-reads for my clients. I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. You just take it or not. Okay, perfect. And then yeah, if we were in person, what I would do is I would break this up into three, have you pick a deck to work on your intuition. I don't
Hmm.
really have a way to do that right now. No, let's not do that. So if that's okay, I'm just going to pull one or two to see where it fits. That's okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. One for sure. Yeah, two. No. Okay, so the first one I have is the Firefly. So this is the only like set of cards that I do need a deck for because there's just so many. Okay, Firefly, inspired and fantastic yet fleeting. The Firefly contains the light of 1,000 stars. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, was that a sneeze or was that a cat?
Oh, that's my cat.
Okay. It's pure, radiant, and illuminating. This high frequency charge cannot be sustained for long. Therefore, the Firefly card indicates a moment of inspiration or awakening that quickly fades if we do not catch it. There is a Firefly energy behind every poem, song, and invention. Our job is to be ready to harness this creative spirit when it graces our path. What can you do to support this precious and elusive light? So when you're in balance, you write, you create, and you brainstorm. When you're out of balance, you feel burnt out or you feel dull, which reminds me of that one, this guy, this prince or this king as well. And then that
Hmm.
light actually, dun, 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 the chariot. When I thought of that, that creative spirit, it's like that's what he's holding. He's holding the Firefly and he's moving in on that action. To bring into balance, write a poem, draw. Like I said, blueprint earlier, like something like that creative process is going to be so good for you. Again, working with your hands, like getting in there and just trying something.
Yeah.
Ooh, the next one I have is a moth.
Oh.
And I hate moths, I'll be honest, because I'm afraid of them. Not because they're bad, because they're actually very good. I just am afraid of things, so for no reason. But let's see here. Moth. Impulsive, hasty, wishful. The moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. We talked about that too. Where the hell's that card? Da, 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 da. Grass is greener on. I don't know where that card went, but we did talk about it, didn't we? Grass is greener. I'm just going to show it if I have it. The hell did it go? Grass is greener. Grass is greener. I don't know. It's around here somewhere, but we did talk about it. So yeah, the moth is sure the grass is greener on the other side. Moth energy is at play when we're attracted to easy solutions or anything shiny and new. This card can lead to unfinished projects, disappointment, or burnout. It's helpful to remind moth personalities that life is complex. No matter the illusion, no one is exempt from the trials and tribulations, of this great journey. Practice seeing life as an infinite mystery rather than wishing it was easier or different. So when in balance, you're enthusiastic and whimsical. When you're out of balance, you idealize. Sorry, I can't talk today. Ideal, I idolizes others or jittery. Maybe that's me. And to bring into balance, finish a project. So interesting.
Cool.
Interesting. I like that reading for
Hmm.
you. I hope you do too.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I feel like I could like just dig in on you, but I won't do that. It's all good. Like generally, that was a fantastic reading. I think you've got such potential to do whatever the hell you want. Make whatever wish you want, and it would just because you're the one doing it, it would come to fruition.
Oh, I love that.
I
Thank
truly
you.
feel that. Oh no, of course. Like and I mean that, like and I said, like, you are the mentor to us. Like you are our expert in this field. And the fact that your field is like always growing, it's like, girl, what can't you do? That's like it's just endless, boundless energy, boundless creativity. It just feels really good. I love it.
Well, that's
Yes.
very nice. Thank you.
Of course. Yeah. Do you have any other questions that you want me to pull for? I mean, obviously, I know it's like
Hmm.
we're also recording, so it's kind of like you don't really want to tell a lot of
Yes.
things, but but how about
No, I
we
don't.
sorry, go ahead.
I felt like that reading you did was really comprehensive and like hit a lot of things where I've had like a lot of questions lately. And that was a really good reading because it kind of like broke up my main question into like 6 little parts. So
Okay,
yeah, it
good.
really resonated with me. That's
Okay,
great.
good. That's like all I ask of people. I'm like, just tell me if it hits home. Otherwise, I don't know who I'm reading, right? So thank you
Yeah,
for
no,
letting
it
me
did.
access your energy and bring out those
Thank you.
messages that were for you, right? Those are just for you. So I appreciate that. I think I'm gonna do one more animal spirit card just for the collective and give them their little piece of stuff. Again, we don't know when this is going to come out. So I'm just going to say, when this comes out to whoever's ears these happen to bless with this podcast. Thank you for listening. Number one. Let's see here for the collective. The number 4 has come up again. So I don't know if that's for somebody out there, but please let us know. Okay, the hyena. I know I've gotten the hyena before, but it just seems like it almost reminds me of like a werewolf, actually. Werewolf energy. Let's see here. Hyena. Humor, wit, sarcasm. The hyena personality is a jokester and crowd pleaser, but below the surface, there are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humor to express our truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? So, when you're in balance, you're charming, you're witty, and you're fun to be around. When you're out of balance, you're scrappy, petty, or suspicious. And to bring into balance, sobriety. So, sober thoughts, sober words, being real with yourself. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I don't know. That was fun. Thanks so much for hanging out with me
Yeah.
today. That was a
Oh, thank you.
blast.
Yeah, that was great.
And considering it's just like us two, again, I'm sure Brittany I know is feeling like some FOMO, but you know what? She had to have the illness, so whatever. But anyways, where can our listeners find you, Molly?
October 7th and 8th, I will be at Creatures of the Night Market in Saskatoon again, doing mini readings.
Fantastic.
Yes, I've got a few places I'm going in September, but it'll probably be too late by the time people hear this.
Potentially. Yeah, but we'll definitely share it on our Instagram as well. So if you post to your stories or whatever, or tag us in your, like, I don't know, we'd love to share it. So feel free to let us plug for you. We'd love that. That'd be fantastic. And
thank you.
You're on Instagram, or we're in a website as well?
I am. Right? Yes, I'm on Instagram at The Telltale Hand. And then I also have a website, thetelltalehand.com.
Fabulous. That's wonderful. And our listeners, of course, you guys can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Basic Banter for Witches. And you can email us all the kind things at basicbanterforwitches@gmail.com. Otherwise, thank you so much, Molly. Honestly, this was so good.
Thank you,
a nice,
Jessica.
Chill, like, I love it. It was fantastic. And I do mean it. Like, I think like you're amazing. So just be you. Just continue to be yourself.
Likewise.
And you're just going to thrive, girl. That's good.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, well, don't go anywhere. Listeners, we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.